Hi boys and girls, I am back here at the Steak and Brush. I'm Christine and today I have another foundation review for you. But before we get into it, as always, if I could ask you to please like, subscribe, and share this with any of your makeup loving friends. I would really appreciate it. It'll help my channel grow. And also, if you would like my or follow me on Instagram at steak_and_brush. Alright, so the foundation I have for you today is Dermacol. It's actually been around for quite a while, but I have been thinking about trying it and wavered back and forth and finally decided just to pull the trigger. It is a heavily pigmented foundation. I'm hoping today that I finally find something that covers up my spots. A little bit about it here. It's listed as waterproof, hypoallergenic for all skin types, SPF 30, and preservative free. It says the description: the clinically tested extremely covering makeup cover was first created as the first of its kind in Europe and one of the first in the world. The license for this foundation was eventually sold to Hollywood. It contains 50% pigment, which makes it a weapon against skin imperfections. Dermacol makeup cover provides perfect coverage even in thin layers and is the perfect corrector. And it says coverage is full, and in parentheses it says extreme. So it says the use is to choose the right shade for your skin. I've chosen 211. I'm hoping that's somewhere near me. Gently tap the makeup onto your skin with either your fingers or a dampened makeup sponge. Apply the Dermacol makeup cover gradually by first using a small quantity and then add as needed until skin problems are covered. The makeup cover has a rich consistency and provides extreme coverage. Therefore, it is important to apply the makeup evenly. So now that I'm nervous about doing this, let's see what we can get into. This is it's just about 1 ounce exactly. It might not look like it is so small, but it's very heavy. It comes in a sealed tube with one of these little puncture things here. Alright, I really have no idea what I'm doing here with this. Let's just put a little bit out. Ooh, that kind of looks dark. Well, we'll see. I'm just going to start with that amount and see what happens. I'm going to put it, let's start on this side. And then I'm just going to kind of brush it out here, or sponge it out. Okay, it's definitely not as dark as I would think, considering what it looked like. I know in my lights it looks a little light for my skin, but when I look in a real mirror, it is a pretty good match. So, at first go, I do see a little emphasis in texture. We'll see if we can kind of buff that out. We'll say that I did prime today with my Touch in Sol No Poreblem primer, since it definitely is the one that I have the least amount of problems with. I'm gonna try this on like about a 3-day test to see how it wears over several days with different conditions. They weren't kidding though when they say a little goes a long way. It really does. With the one little pass, it's not quite gotten my sunspots. Let's do a little bit more. This is supposed to be the kind of stuff that you can use to cover up a tattoo. You know what? We'll try that today too. Okay. Guess I probably should have tried one side with a brush. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. Let's actually try a little bit. I have a tattoo. I've got several tattoos, but this is one I have. We lost a cat. He was actually a kitten. We only had him for a couple months, but we loved him so much that I wanted to get something to remember him by. That is his actual paw print. I mean, maybe it's because this is a very heavy tattoo there, but I don't think this is really covering that. I don't know how much you would actually need to cover that. I guess if you don't spread it out really, you just kind of tap it in, it almost covers it. But the more I tap, the more I play with it, the less it works. All right, so let's get back to my face here. Let's see what we've got. It is definitely a, well, I'm not going to say definitely. It is matte-ish. It is not luminous or anything like that, but pretty matte. It's pretty matte. Which again, for me, not a problem, but for others it could be. I do feel like it emphasizes texture a little bit, but again, it's full coverage, so that can happen. Maybe, I don't know, maybe with some other products it'll help. It is covering those sunspots though. Those are gone. Those are completely gone. Now, it actually set down pretty well. I don't know if I'll set this or not. I don't know. Maybe I'll go today without setting it and see how it holds up here. But what I'm gonna say is it's not the most beautiful foundation ever, at least without any other products. But let's see if it makes a difference. Is it worth it to cover these up to get, to maybe get a little more texture? We'll have to see. Let's put on a full face of makeup and see how it looks after that. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will be right back. Okay, I have my full face of makeup on. Most of it I'm trying out the Rebel Rose collection from Wet n Wild. That video should already be up, so I will go ahead and put it up, a link to it up here. So what do I think? I did not set it with a powder, at least. I did use my settings or my fixing spray. But when I did put my blush and highlighter on, it did move the makeup so it's not covering that sunspot anymore. The rest of them are still pretty covered. I have a sneaking suspicion that if I had set it with some powder, maybe that would have played a little better with that, and used a powder product. I did not. I used a cream product for those. So we'll see, maybe tomorrow or the next day, we'll see how that plays with it. It's still not the greatest finish I've ever seen. It's settling into some of my forehead lines, and it just looks a little textury here. I did completely forget to put concealer on, so excuse that. But I'm just gonna have to see how it wears. I'm gonna say that probably this combination is not the best combination for everything, but I want to try it this way, and you know, I want to try it every different way that I can to give you the best review possible of it. But yeah, just even in between my forehead, or in between my eyebrows here, it's just, it's starting out kind of texturing, so I don't know how it's going to end up at the end of the day. Now it's already pretty late, so it's probably not going to be a very long wear today, but we'll see how it goes. I will come back tonight and let you know, and I'll see you then. Bye. Well, it's the end of night one, and I don't have a lot of good to say about this. It's honestly has not been on that long. We're looking at about 6 hours right now, but this is definitely not long wearing, so there's no point of going any further with it. It's just a mess. Let's start. The only good thing, well, I could say the color match is pretty good. That's decent. The only good thing I can say is that it really has mostly covered up here my sunspots, except for right here. And when I tried to blend, like I said earlier, when I tried to blend that cream product into it, it just didn't, it wore right away. So, but over on this side, it has stayed covering up my sunspots. So, and even up here, it's pretty good. So really the only good thing I can say right now. All right, it has settled into fine lines. It has created texture where I don't have texture. It looks very powdery in some places. It's completely worn off my chin. My nose is polka dotty into my pores. It just doesn't look good at all. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'll probably use it with a silicone primer, see if that helps a little. I mean, it doesn't even feel like full, like real true full coverage. Maybe I'll try it with, if I try it with a brush, it'll work a little better, but maybe I'll try a little more. I mean, I can't really do much less. I was trying to be good to what it said, and I didn't use a lot. I just wanted enough to cover, but you know, since it wore away there, I'll try setting it tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I don't see a whole lot of good in this today. I don't like the way it feels. I mean, it feels fine. I don't like the way it looks. So join me tomorrow to see if this is any less of a mess, and cross your fingers that it is. Until then, I'll see you later. Hi there, I am back for day 2 of the Dermacol review wear test. First of all, I apologize for blinding you with the reflection here. My contacts were not cooperating today, and I am completely blind without these. So bear with me. Day 2, I used my e.l.f. primer. Let me get it out here. It is a silicone based. It is the Poreless face primer, not the putty, just the liquid. It's a little better, but not by much. I set it with both a loose powder. I used the Becca Hydrate Gel, Hydrate and Refresh something. The one that I really like that makes it feel like it's water on my face. And I set it also with MAC Fix Plus, because beforehand, like it looked horrible before I set it. It just looked like it was moving everywhere. It did not look good. I had horrible polka dot pores. It was just not good. So I set it, and that looked better, but then it looked very powdery. So that's when I set it with the Fix Plus. I think that helped a lot. I'm still getting a lot of texture throughout here. Let me just show you here. Okay, I will take my glasses off for this. Okay, I'm getting a lot of texture. There, you can really see it because of the highlighter, but I'm getting a lot of texture through there. My nose does look a little better. The setting helped with the polka dot pores a bit. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but overall it just kind of looks cakey. Yeah, I mean, it's not settling into lines as much, but it still looks very textured. So no polka dot pores at this moment, no settling into lines, but still textured, and today cakey because of all the things I had to do to make it not look disastrous. So I will catch up later on tonight to let you know. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. I mean, I just got done putting on my makeup, so I'll check in with you tonight and let you know how it wore throughout the day. See you then. Okay, day 2 evening check-in. Where do we stand? Well, let's start with the only real positive I guess I can see. I cannot see my sunspots. I mean but that's a dark freckle. That's not something I really worry about, but it covered that. I used a little bit more today, and that seemed to do that. But there's not a whole lot of other good to say about this. It's cakey as hell, like really cakey. It's, I guess, not quite as cakey as when I started. I think when my skin warmed up, that helped it quite a bit, but still, I mean, it needs to go a lot farther to be not cakey. It's settled into my fine line, or not my fine lines, these aren't fine. It's settled into wrinkles here. It just accentuated those. It doesn't seem to be, I kind of patted them out. It's staying a little bit now, but it looked bad. Every bit of texture. And maybe let me turn down one of my lights here. Maybe you can see it better. Every little bit of texture I have right through here, you can see. I mean, and it's made it worse. My chin, it is completely gone here. Absolutely nothing. My nose is polka dot pore. I don't know why I'm not focusing very well, but okay, turn the lights back on here. Yeah, I would say in some respects it's better than day 1, in others it's much worse. This is just not working. I'm gonna try one more thing tomorrow. I am going to try to use a hydrating water-based primer to see if maybe that'll help some of the polka dot pores or the cakiness. Although I don't think it'll help the polka dot pores. It may help the cakiness if it's a little more hydrated. I'll also set it with a pressed powder instead of a loose powder, but I don't know what else to do with this. The only redeeming grace this may have, if that doesn't work tomorrow, I have decided I'm going to try to use it on a 4th day as a sort of spot concealer to see if I can use it underneath other makeup, other foundations that are not full coverage, and it'll cover my sunspots. I don't know if that will work. I don't know if it'll move around too much or how it will work under another foundation, but I'm gonna try it. Now, I am not going to try this again with either technique and on a day that I have to go anywhere. So tomorrow I actually have to look nice for an event, so I'm not going to try it tomorrow. On days when I don't have to go anywhere, that's when I'm going to try this, because I'm not going out with this skin. It's just bad. Yeah, that's the only redeeming quality I can see for it, and hope that it works. I definitely wouldn't use it as a spot concealer for any kind of blemish, because since it sticks to all my pores and it accentuates texture, if you have any kind of breakout where there actually is, you know, like the head or anything where there is some peeling skin around it, it's just going to cling to that and look horrible. So I would not recommend it, even if this works in a couple days like that, but we'll see. So day 2, still a failure. I'll catch up in a couple days and let you know how day 3 goes. I'll talk to you then. Hi everybody, I am actually out in the world bright and early. It's like 7:30 in the morning on a Friday. God knows why I'm up this early, but I wanted to do a quick check-in on my probably last day of the Dermacol. I may have actually, I'm sorry, I'm jiggling so much, I don't have a stand in here. I may have found a somewhat way to wear it. It's still not beautiful, and it still really sinks in and accentuates my forehead wrinkles. And this is a pillow, well, not a pillow mark, it's actually my Fitbit mark from where I sleep. But what I did today is I used the Tarte, I'll check it. I'll have to show you at the end of the night when I check in. It was a Tarte water-based primer, and after I put it down, I felt like it was just, I still had too much. It was just too much foundation, so I put it on with a brush, but I went in with a beauty blender and pretty much just patted off and soaked up every little bit of extra I could in every area except for right in my spots where I definitely wanted that extra coverage. So if you can see, now today I mean, it's still not great texture, but it's much better than the other days. I feel a lot better in it. So this might be the only wearable way that I can find to do it. So, but I'll let you know at the end of the day how it held up, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Alright, day 4 of the Dermacol has been a very, very long day. We're talking 16 plus hours. So let's get into this. Alright, I should have had this out earlier. I primed today with the Tarte Double Duty Beauty. That seems to have helped for a certain amount of time. This foundation never once looked terrific, but it looked slightly wearable for a few hours. Unfortunately, it was at a film festival, so it wasn't in the kind of environment where I could be constantly checking my face so I could tell you exactly when things started to go bad. And again, granted, it was 16 hours, and a lot of things aren't going to last 16 hours. But let me show you what my face looks like here. Okay. I have absolutely nothing left on my chin. My nose, and pardon the under eye, again, like I said, I have just got home. I'm staying up long enough to film this, do a little editing, wash my face off, and go to sleep. But yeah, it's completely worn off from like here down on my nose, where my little bump of my nose is. The chinks don't actually look too bad. You can see this kind of texture that I've got going on. It's still, for the most part, pretty much covering up my sunspots. Same thing here. It's not that bad. But this whole shiny thing going on, I am not I don't have oily skin. I had a little problems for a while where with certain foundations I was getting a little oily down here, but I've never had anything up here. And if I just wipe, I don't even know if you can probably see it on there. Yeah, you can see a line of demarcation there where it is just completely coming off. And I mean, yeah, it's just swiping off in huge swipes on my hand. It did last, like I said, there were several hours that it lasted pretty decently, but I never got anything terrific out of this today, but at least I was wearable for a couple hours. And like I said earlier, I put it on a little heavier than I think I would have normally, and then I just took my Real Techniques sponge and I blotted the hell out of it to make sure every little bit of product that I didn't need for coverage was off. And I only had the layer, except for right through here where I really wanted the coverage, that didn't go away. So tomorrow will be my last day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it as a spot concealer for my sunspots. I haven't determined what I'm going to put it under, but I'm going to put it under something, a regular foundation, and see if that works at all. If that works, because like I said, you know, I don't see my sunspots peeking through. If I could use the coverage of that, and it's lasted 16 hours, so that's great. So if I could use the coverage of that with the coverage of on the rest of my face with something else that doesn't look like total shit, I think I could be happy. But just using this, unless it was just for a couple hours, and I don't know why I would want a foundation that just worked a couple hours that never looks terrific. Like if this looked, oh my god, fantastic, best skin ever for a couple hours, but only for a couple hours, sure, maybe if you were going to be doing photographs or something like that, that would be great. But this isn't even for a couple hours that it does last, is not even the greatest. So tomorrow will be my last day. I'll give you my final thoughts and my ratings then. Oh, I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Alright, it is day 4 and the last chance for Dermacol. How did it turn out? You won't be surprised when I say like crap. I shouldn't say complete like crap. Today I used it not as a full foundation. I tried to spot conceal with it. I just put it underneath my foundation right through here to see if it would cover up the dark spots, if I could use it that way, because it didn't work any other way. As you can see, there's my dark spot. And that one's not quite as visible, but it's there. I put this on a half an hour ago. So yeah, nope, I can't find any conceivable way that this works well. No primer. No, I didn't try no primer, but I tried my Serum primer, which everything works for, but you know, it doesn't really, it's not a long-lasting thing, it just helps with the pores. I tried a silicone-based primer, I tried a water-based primer, and I tried it like this. The best result I had still looked like shit. So, no. If we want to go over the specifics, covering my sunspots, with the exception of today, because you know what, I did find even on the first day, as soon as I put another product directly over it without setting it, it didn't cover it. But anytime I did use it and then set it, it covered my dark spots, and it did that for a long time. So that I will give it 1 star for. I will give it the full star for that. As far as long lasting, no. The days that it did last long, it looked horrible when it was still on. Like yesterday, I had it on for 16 hours or something like that, and it looked horrible. Anytime I wore it, even on the best days, after 4 or 5 hours, it just looked like garbage. So no stars for long lasting. How my pores looked, how, you know, it set into fine lines and wrinkles, polka dots, you know, just how it sat on my face, way bad. I mean, it was just, I mean, yesterday was the best day I had for it, and it still was in my fine lines, my forehead lines. It still looked, even though it looked the best that it had ever all the days, I still had texture, and I forget which day it was, which crappy day it was of wearing. It was sliding all over my face. No, absolutely no stars for that. As far as claims it made, I mean, the only claim it made was that it was extreme coverage, but it also said it, you know, was, you know, Hollywood wear, and I'll give it a half a star because it is extreme coverage, and it followed with that, but everything else was still a dud. And transfer was something I actually haven't mentioned in the previous videos. I guess everything else was just so bad I kind of forgotten about it. But yeah, it transfers like crazy. Especially yesterday at the end of the day. I mean, you know, I touched my face and you could clearly just see all of the stuff. You know, phone, clothes. I think I leaned over to pick something out our back seat in the car, and I brushed up against it, and you know, you could see some on the car seat. So yeah, absolutely no stars for that. I mean, 1.5 stars is probably pretty generous for this, but you know, the 5 things on my scale, and it did do the, I can't give it fault. If you set it down, it covers dark spots and it stays like that for a while. But I don't have dry, I have oily, okay, let me try that again. I have mostly dry skin, maybe, you know, kind of normal certain times of the year. Never have oily skin, but it made my skin look oily, so I don't know why, you know, I have a person with oily skin, this has got to look horrible on. If you have super dry skin, I mean, you get all kinds of texture showing, so I think that would probably be bad. Especially, I also think, I know it would cling to any blemishes or any dry patches you have with skin peeling, so this wouldn't work for that. I don't know who this is suited for, but I don't think they're human. This is probably the worst foundation I have ever tried as an adult. Maybe something that I had, you know, as a preteen or something in the 80s when drugstore foundation was really bad, but no, absolutely no. I don't know who this works for. I have seen some people on YouTube. I don't know how this works for them, but it's a complete dud for me. So there you have it, Dermacol. If you like it and you love it, terrific. Let me know how, but I don't understand it at all. I don't understand why it has a cult following or anything. Not for me. So, sorry to be such a downer today on the channel, but I do these things so you don't have to. Let me know what foundations you would like to see. There's a lot of new ones out there, and I have ordered one. I have ordered the, spoiler alert, the new Charlotte Tilbury, what is it, the Airbrush Flawless, something like that. I couldn't resist. It's a brand new one. It should be here because of the Labor Day weekend. I probably won't get it till Tuesday or Wednesday, but as soon as I get to try it, I will do a thorough review and I will get it up there for you. All right, till next time, I'll see you later. Have a good night.